What's going on there, everyone? Well, I'm taking a break from the just boring and abysmal impeachment hearings, and was going through the news, trying to find something interesting to talk about, and I did find something that interested me quite some bit, and it'll probably interest y'all too if you're on this channel. Pro-life policies growing like a steady drumbeat, abortion analyst says. Good. That sounds like music to my ears. Let's see what they're saying. Pro-life policies within the United States are growing like a steady drumbeat, according to an abortion analyst. State trend analysis for Guttmacher, interesting name, Institute, Elizabeth Nash spoke out about increase in pro-life legislation across the United States in an interview with BuzzFeed News. Imagine that. BuzzFeed News. I wonder what type of spin they put on that story. The analysis, who works with Guttmacher's Washington D.C. office, has studied abortion legislation at the state level, since 1999. Noted that abortion policies took a hit in 2019. Good. It's been a rough decade for those that support abortion rights, Nash told BuzzFeed, adding that pro-life policies are growing, like a steady drumbeat getting louder each year. Yeah, because being pro-life, no matter what you think, is a good thing. These poor babies in the womb, that's not all cases, and in those cases I understand. There are certain situations with even me as a conservative where I can understand an abortion. It's very few instances, and they're pretty extreme instances that have to happen in order for me to just understand and agree that an abortion would be necessary. We all, I can't say them on YouTube because of YouTube censorship, but I think we know where I'm coming from. The words are, one starts with an R, the other one starts with an I. So if you can get those two, those are the instances, and I will put a third instance in there. If the mother's life, if she will die during a birth or something like that, I can understand then also. But those three examples are the only examples given. Women nowadays are using abortion as birth control, and it's disgusting. I mean, that is reprehensible. I mean, come on. For real, man. Think about it. It's not birth control. It should be a last step for a very extreme case. In January 2011, the bills just started flying. The restrictions started moving very quickly, Nash said. It kick-started a wave of abortion restrictions, which we've been seeing to this day. And because the pendulum hasn't fully swung back on the state level, it's been hard to push back. It's going to be even harder because I don't know if all these liberals and crazy people realize Trump has gotten more conservative judges, federal judges, nominated than any other president, I think, in history. So even on the state level, you're going to be up against a heck of a fight, which is a good thing. Pro-abortion advocates thought for the first half of the decade, extreme bans on abortion would never hold up to court challenges, BuzzFeed reports. But after the election of President Donald Trump and the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, they begin to see it differently. Well, don't forget about Neil Gorsuch. Trump has been doing an amazing job of stacking the courts from state level, federal people, all the way up to the Supreme Court. He's been rocking and rolling, and God bless him for it. This is going to change the way policies are written in this country for generations, and that's a good thing, because this toxic liberalism that we've been seeing that spread across the world for a few years, we're seeing it. It's coming full circle. It's being destroyed. It's destroying itself is what's happening. You can see with in Spain, the national rights growing exponentially. In Italy, the national rights growing. Look at what just happened in Britain with Boris Johnson and the conservatives over there crushing the election. I mean, crushing the election. And then you got places like Hungary, Poland. The Eastern Bloc nations are very nationalistic, very right-wing conservative. Conservatism is going to take over because it's just the natural effect of combating nonsensical liberalism. I mean, liberals used to be a good thing. Being a liberal used to be a good thing. And then something happened in the mid to late 2000s, and liberals started going out of their minds. I don't know what happened. You can't just blame it on the election of Donald Trump. It was already in there. Something was already in there. That may have been the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, but there was something else deep in there. It's just not good. Liberalism is not good anymore. There was not much left to do besides ban abortion, to finally take a real step towards their ultimate goal, to ban abortion, whether it's piling on restrictions or banning it entirely. Like I said, conservatives, we won't ban abortion entirely because there are certain situations in which it's medically necessary. And I know there are plenty of conservatives that go way further than I do. I'm actually, a lot of my staunch conservative friends consider me a little bit on the liberal side when it comes to abortion, just because I understand for assaults on women and for family assaults, the I word, if you get where I'm going. I would have stipulations for that, and a lot of staunch conservatives wouldn't. And to me, that's a bad thing, because that could really weigh on the mother's mental state carrying a child from those two instances, and in doing so, by hurting the mother's mental state, could hurt the baby. You see what I'm saying? It's a weird situation, and it's one that I would happily be up to debate for. The publication notes that there have been 27 bans on abortion since Kavanaugh's confirmation, at rates this country has never seen before, and 3 states have adopted legislation in 2019 immediately banning abortion if Roe v. Wade is overturned: Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Tennessee. And I'm sorry, pro-abortion advocates, Roe v. Wade should be overturned, no matter what y'all think, because it was based on a false pretense. The woman lied to the court, she lied to everybody. Not only should it be overturned, but she should have had charges brought on her for lying when they found out. But no, of course not. But the law should have immediately been overturned because of it being built on a false pretense. Sorry. If you don't like that, then find another example, because the example that's in the law books isn't a real example. The Guttmacher Institute is a leading research and policy organization committed to advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights in the United States and globally. Globalist. Gotta love them globalists. I hate globalists. Always sticking their nose in other people's businesses. It's one of the reasons I don't particularly like the left at all, is because the left are inherently globalistic. Can't stand it. But I think it's a very positive thing what we're seeing in this country, with abortion being not outlawed, but heavily regulated the way it should be. You know, like I said, abortion should not be a form of birth control. And I know in a lot of urban communities, it is seen as birth control. People go in there repeatedly. I mean, there are people that go into an abortion clinic multiple times a year. You know, I always talk about self-accountability. It's one of all conservatives will talk about self-accountability. It's one of our big things. And when it comes to abortion, I believe self-accountability is one of the biggest factors in abortion, you know. If you're gonna sit there and be having a bunch of unwed premarital sex or this, that, or the other, and just be irresponsible, well, you should have to pay for that. You pay for your own mistakes, you know. If you're gonna go out and have unprotected sex and get impregnated, well, guess what? You're gonna have to carry that baby. That was, in most circumstances, that's your fault. You know, I don't know what to say, because it's just your fault. Have to have self-accountability, people. We all know what that act can lead to. We have steps to prevent that. Take those steps, and then we won't even have to have these arguments. It's pretty simple. But I don't know. The left doesn't seem to be very well at dictating their own lives that well. They'd rather have someone else do it for them. That's why they like socialism and communism and stuff. Because they're too stupid, it seems, to run their own lives well. So they want other people, they want the government to do it for them. Which is dangerous, and we've all seen where that goes. You know, history will tell you everything you need to know about socialism, communism, and all these government authoritarian regimes. But it seems they don't care about history. They don't care about the future either. They don't seem to care about much. But I'd love to hear your comments on this, whether you're for abortion, against abortion, or in between, don't quite understand where you sit. I'd love to talk about it, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.